welcome Black to Black Loves Men's Roundtable. We are here. My name is Belief. I have been married for 11 years. It'll be 12 coming up soon, right? And I'm here with some extraordinary gentlemen, and I want them to introduce themselves because we're going to talk a lot about partnership today. Skyh, why don't you start?
Hey, I am Skyh Black, and I just recently got engaged on Christmas. So I'm about to.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Go. Come on.
Thank you, man.
Go.
I'm about to take the journey to where all y'all fellas are. So I need to learn.
Right. Congratulations, man. You learn as you go.
Well, I'll be sharing. Alimi, Ballard, been married for 20 years.
My name is Seth Brundle. By the time this airs, I will have been married for 5 years.
All right.
Enitan, Bereola, 9 years, 2 kids.
All right, we throwing the kids out there. I got 4 of them, you know what I'm saying?
Come on.
man.
I got 18 kids
Oh, come
in
on.
my mind, but I only got 2 in real life. On human earth, on human earth, I got 2. Same woman, too. Same wife, the one I married.
The judgment leaped out in my face. I was like, wait
It was
a
like
second.
Negro.
What kind of responsible?
Yo, why is he here?
It's busy.
I got 2 kids.
Yeah.
Baby, I got none. I told you when I first met you.
And I have one beautiful 3-year-old son.
All right, yeah. And Seth has one. So I want to talk about when you first got into this relationship, right? With your significant other, your spouse. What did you preconceive your responsibility was as a husband, right? Like, and I'm gonna tell you, like, from my experience, right? I didn't think that I was supposed to get anything out of the relationship. I thought I was there to serve and give. And then around the time I became a stay-at-home dad, I need you to go ahead and come home a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need some time with the homies.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was just gonna give, and I realized that I was giving from an empty place, right? And so I just want to discuss, right, our knowledge as, like, we walk into this and we're like, okay, are we supposed to provide?
Right.
Right? Initially, what was that? And then what is it now?
Yeah.
Anybody want to take that one? Ali,
In complete honesty, like, I didn't have a lot of role models on it, like positive ones about what it should look like. So me getting married, it was a blank slate. I had to really ask myself, well, why? You know what I mean? I'm not a conformist, you know? I've never been a good follower. Just not out of arrogance, just like, I just hard for me to do it. I had to, you know, sketch out what it is. What does that look like, you know? And that framework was something that's mutually empowering. And that's what we talked about. It would have to grow us. You know, we're not in it for the longevity. There's no trophy you get for being together for 50 years. You know, nobody gets no trophy. They talk about that, but there's no, I'm gonna get to the afterlife. Oh, you made it 75 years married. You're not gonna get nothing.
Here's the special section in heaven.
You get the special section in heaven. Y'all been like, no.
You're the married guy.
No. Oh my God, like, you're not getting anything.
Yeah.
Is it empowering?
Yeah.
Are you growing? You know, is that person's consciously helping you to grow, and vice versa?
Piggybacking off of what you said, my experience was the opposite. I had an example and a few examples of what a marriage should look like. I grew up in a 2-parent household, and my parents had a very unhealthy marriage for 24 years. My parents finally made the decision to divorce when I was 22 years old, fresh out of undergrad. It's the best decision either one of them could have ever made. So I think approaching my marriage, my wife and I's philosophy was taking learnings from both of our parents' respective marriages. You know what I mean? Like, me and my wife have a lot in common in terms of we're both the middle kids. We both have an older brother, younger brother. Our moms, ironically, went to high school together, know each other, graduated together. Us and all of our siblings are the same age, but we have very different experiences where both of our parents divorced the same year, but they have very different marriages. Like, her parents, white picket fence, they're in love, everything seemingly perfect. And then all of a sudden, her father just drops this bomb on her mother that he wants a divorce. You know what I mean? So I think for both of us, we didn't necessarily go into it with expectations of what our respective roles and responsibilities were. We were just more so aligned on the fact that in our relationship, we were going to craft what we wanted.
That is
We were
amazing.
marrying one another,
My dude.
you know, and not templatizing whatever we thought our respective roles in our marriage were. We have untraditional roles, you know what I mean?
I'm just curious though, like, So that was true for both of you.
Yeah.
Right. So there was no like preconceived notions, like she had expectations that you weren't aware of.
No,
I'm gonna be honest. Like my wife was like, "Yo, when I come home with an empty gas tank, I want you to go out and fill up the gas tank."
Right.
And I say,
Is she from the South?
yes.
Yes.
No. Her family's from the South.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
what her
it's-
dad did.
it's a
so I
regional
said,
thing, yeah.
that's really irresponsible of you to come home with the empty gas tank. You know what I mean? But she believed that
luck.
this was my responsibility. So I'm like, why would you come home with an empty gas tank? That just seems like you're creating work for me. Like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? So I didn't
Oh, you
have
talk
that
about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
So I'm about to say, I think I got 1 or 2 or 12 of those.
I need that to come out at the table.
man,
This is
listen.
the round table.
My wife from Atlanta, but I'm gonna hold on to that.
Okay,
So
okay,
let everybody
okay,
else
cool.
speak.
I want somebody else to go ahead.
I'm nowhere near where all of you are, and I pray to God that we gonna get there, baby. We gonna get there. I know
What, King?
No, but I think piggyback on what you said, a regional, like where you were brought up, has a huge impact on how your relationship probably may manifest. Just because my fiance and I, we're both from Florida. My grandparents raised me, and my grandfather they were born and raised in Union Springs, Alabama, until they migrated to Miami. And that was in that time, they had a very like structured ideal of what the man does and what the woman does. And my grandparents stayed together for 56 years until death did them part. And with my fiance, her father also passed away until death did them part. Yeah. So we both come from that structured Southern upbringing. So we went in, I think I'll just say this. I saw my granddad in what is in the Black community considered a man's man. Mm-hmm. My grandmother stayed at home. She did all of the chores and whatever else, how hard it was to actually be a at-home mother for 4 kids and then a grandkid. My grandfather went out. He was a CEO of his own construction company from Union Springs, Alabama. So that was a big feat for him. And he brought home the money. He gives it to her. Mm-hmm. She disperses it how she does what she needs to do for the house. And when we first, I think now we are figuring out what does that look like. And I'll be honest, I have very traditionalist type of thought processes because that's how I was born, on the gas thing. Mm-hmm. So does she, but I think for us, it's, and I'm excited to listen and learn from y'all, because from us, that particular question is like, we are blessed enough, my fiance and I, to have went against the norm. Like, we were nonconformists. I didn't go to school, like I just said, she did, but we came to Los Angeles, had a dream, fulfilled the dream. So now we're coming into this situation with, you're successful by yourself. Like, you got your own assets. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I am successful by myself. I have my own assets. What does providing look like for us? Because technically, I can do anything I want. Technically, you can do anything you want. You got on before I did. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? So what does that look like? And I think what I'm learning is that it's the smaller things. Like, it's the hey, I don't pump gas. Yeah. Like, okay, well, I had the fortitude to think, do you need an assistant today? So let me just do this. Or, I'm learning that it's the forward thinking of the provision that is needed for my partner. Right. Because when it comes, like the old days that I grew up watching my grandparents, the finances, that's not the thing anymore. Yeah. And a lot of women today are very, very, very self-sufficient.
Yes, indeed.
You know what I mean? Yes, so it's kind of like, well, all right, well, what is my definition of provision?
Yeah, I think provision is more than financial. Like, a lot of times, the same way you were raised, I was raised, grandparents, parents, under that traditional kind of hierarchy, right? Mm-hmm. I think the reality is, like, provision is whatever is necessary, right? Like, we take on gender roles, like, as we're supposed to, as society says we're supposed to, but the reality is, like, what are you good at? Is the trash...
Take out that trash in the morning,
right. Whose responsibility?
On an accident, I let my daughter's diapers, I didn't take them out yesterday. Yeah. They were by the door. I'm sure my wife took them out today. My bad, but she still took them out, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, like, the traditional gender roles that we used to follow, like generations improve on the model, right? Like we do better than our parents did as we're supposed to, and our parents did better than our grandparents, and it's supposed to continue on down to the kids.
Yeah.
So
I think
gender roles are a little tricky, right?
I think, like if you mind if I
Yeah,
jump
go
in?
ahead, go ahead.
I think what you bring in, the things you bring to the table, outside of money, are the things that matter.
Yeah.
You go through different times, whether you're in ancient Africa, you're dealing with cowrie shells or whatever country, like the currency of the day is one of those things that's temporary, the gifts of the spirit, the emotional gifts, the mental gifts, like how do you help your partner, or what do you bring to the table? Outside of money, as far as providing, whatever that means, in that traditional archetypical, if that's the right word, masculine role, I haven't found it to be, worthwhile, and I'll qualify that, get more into that. What I have found in my own personal experience, how do you help your partner through the deep waters?
Yo, the waters get deep.
Depression.
Brother. Hey, come on, man.
Not like, toilet paper and Cheerios is important business.
Yeah, but there's another.
There's another part of life that has nothing to do with toilet paper and Cheerios.
Yes.
So we're all speaking from this place of wisdom and what we've learned. But I don't know if anybody got married dumb, right? I got married dumb.
I think we all get married.
Right,
I think
right,
we all get married dumb.
How you start out, right? It's kind of like you learning a lot about like, why am I doing this? You know what I mean? Or like, why is this important? And so now it's like common knowledge to us. Of course, I'm gonna support my wife in every single way, right? And work my butt off. And if I don't sleep, then I just don't sleep. I will figure it out, right? But there is something about us, right? And knowing that our partnership is not only about the finance, right? But I didn't know that in the beginning.
Yeah.
I wasn't making any money when my wife and I got married. I was an artist, right?
What was that?
So when she even thinks back, like, why did I marry you? That wasn't like smart. Like, I'm a very responsible person. Like, I went to college. I got, I'm a teacher. Why did I marry you? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't seem like something I would do.
If I'm marrying you for money, it doesn't make sense.
Right. But not even that. Like, she knew that I had like a leadership and something that, I had something that she was gonna attach herself to, and she knew I would work hard.
Right.
But there was something else that I was providing, but I still, in my own manhood, right, was still struggling with, I am not worthy because I am not making money. Right?
Definitely. Yeah. So, like, one of the things I wanted to go back to, like we were talking about, we have all of these like blanket terms for like different aspects of marriage, right? We have providing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you ask a newly married couple in 2022, as opposed to a couple that was married in 1922, what it meant to provide. So we have this very blanket definition of what that means. So we think it's money, taking care of bills, and so on and so forth. You ask a woman who was married in 1922, providing might have looked like control to her. She's not able to go out. She's not able to go work.
She can't get a credit card in her own name.
dress.
The structure of the society is different in 1922.
You know what I'm
She
saying?
can't buy property by herself.
She want to leave old Earl that everybody in the community thinks is, like this
She can't
positive
vote
upset.
yet.
She can't vote. That, for her, providing was maybe control.
Yeah.
For, I think, everybody at this table, now that we're more self-actualized men, we should know a little better, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Than 100 years ago, just a little bit. But I think for us now, we know providing is more so aligned with security.
Yes.
Just making sure we have what we need at home. And like you said, Ali, like, security might look like, providing might look like making sure that your wife is emotionally taken care of.
Mine
don't need me.
Dude, the financial, she might not need your money. The deep waters. People have things deeper than financial concerns in their spiritual life, their mental life, their emotional life. And that is where a partner can really, you earn your bucks.
Yeah.
How do you hold somebody up when they feel spiritually weak, mentally weak? Do you offer yourself, or do you crush on people when they're down? These are the valuable qualities in a person when you don't have the courage. Sometimes you hold your partner's courage when they don't have the strength to believe in something they want to do, something they want to fix, something they want to heal, and you be like, no, baby, you can do that. I don't care what they said, you can do that. And you get a chance to bring that spiritual strength, that mental strength, and that's a gift That's value. That's providing.
That's providing.
That's providing
Very
protection.
true. Yeah, very
Oh,
true.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
But the thing is, like, what we see, right, and what I'm noticing, right, because I understand like who I'm around right now, right, and then what is happening
Out there,
and
it's a different,
it's scary out there. Guys, it is terrifying out
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah.
And so when we listen to people in the, they don't make this much money, they don't do this, and it's like, no, you need it all, right? You need that emotional support as well, right?
Right.
And so I'm more like trying to give light to people that, like, even if you don't make that, right, that amount of money or whatever, you still are providing and you still are valuable.
Yeah, man. I mean, you think about it like an NBA team, right? Like the janitor gets the ring when they win the championship, right? Like,
Is that true?
I mean, I think so.
Okay, I hope so.
I mean,
I saw a Facebook post about like the physical therapist who got a ring for
that's dope.
the Super Bowl for the
That's
Rams.
lit.
So
It's like a true team effort.
that's the point, right?
The
Like,
wait staff, right? The people
like
in
the
the waiting
team
room.
truly
Yeah.
matters, right? Like
Yeah.
you see that old like, bro, are you still playing, bro? You're like 40, but he's a team. Like he has a role on the team, a specific role where he encourages the players. He's like the leader on the team that can. He has the experience. He has a different perspective, right? I think like being in a marriage, there's this central focus on finance. Always, provision is always finance. It's money. It's monetary. It's the home. It's the taking care of. It's the coddling. It's you can't do, so let me do for you. We live in a different age, like you mentioned, right? Like women are successful, brother. Like super successful. They've learned to do without us. They've learned to become, I hate to say it, but like the men that they need, right? In a sense. They've learned to take on the responsibility and be like, you know what, you ain't got it. I'm gonna fend for myself, right? And they're doing well at it, right? It's not a perk, but they're doing well at it. But the reality is like provision is what we can provide that is lacking. It doesn't have to be finance. If a woman has a financial thing intact, then let her do that for the time, right? Like find other ways. You said you stay-at-home dad. I was a stay-at-home dad in 2020. Right? Like, and it was the most beautiful thing in the world. I got to get to know my 1-year-old daughter in an intimate way. Like that, like we can never erase that, right?
Yeah.
That's our thing. My son, I got to kick it with him in a new way, right?
Yeah.
So I think provision is whatever the other person is lacking, right? Like a relationship should build you.
Yes.
It should make you better.
Yes.
I agree.
Right?
Not just buy you leather jackets.
Not just buy you leather jackets and bags and
not just buy you
Birkins
fancy
and-
bags. It should grow you as a human. You know what I mean? The underpinnings of it. At least for me, that's the only way I would get into it. Otherwise, you'd be a bachelor forever. Why would I sign up?
What are you offering?
And I also think that what you desire now, right, in a relationship is not what you'll desire a year, 2, 3, or when you become a
continues to
mother.
evolve, yeah, for
right?
sure.
It always changes, right?
Yes.
And so, though I thought I was gonna be doing one thing, I'm with a totally different woman than I married, right? And it's great, you know what I mean? And I didn't know it was gonna change, but I've learned to become whatever the season needed, right? So, and most of the time, as a man, what I really see is a lot of that emotional stuff.
Whatever the season.
That's a bar.
Best believe I'm taking
down.
Best believe.
The Chiron should have that.
And listen,
That's gonna be an Instagram
Security,
caption like
security
tomorrow.
is the thing, though. Like, as even my son, right? My wife asked my son, like, why do you need your dad here, right? And it was just like one of those questions because he was, talking about. We were all giving each other flowers, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, I feel better when dad's here, and why? I feel safe.
My little
Right.
one says that.
Right, and that is like, I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know I was providing that.
Yeah.
Right. But that is something that is a blessing to know that I make you feel secure, right?
Yeah.
And so being a part of a woman's security, right, and helping her understand, like, hey, like I'm here for you, and I'm here to protect you, even from the things that I don't know that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I have to protect my children, even from me. Like, wait a minute, why am I thinking like this? Why, you know what I'm saying? I have to come at it a different way.
Women are some of the greatest protectors on earth. From nature, animal, and especially the human kingdom. You know what I mean? Like a great, female partner will protect you, from yourself, your own bad habits, all the shit about yourself. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Run that.
I tell my wife all the time, thank you. I told her in my vows, thank you for saving me from myself.
Bro.
Thank you for saving me from myself.
Those subtle things you can't see about yourself that slip past your radar.
Oh, yeah, completely.
There's someone, a real OG sister be like, yo, you do that, right? Nah, they'd be like, don't bite my head off. But bro, you do this. And sometimes you just be like, is that? And you be like, whoa.
Yeah.
And they help you with your family. Sometimes you have problems dealing with your mom.
The greatest
with sisters.
accountability for me is my wife.
Come on, bro.
Right? She has called me into saying like, hey, asked me one time, what's your 5-year plan? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know whatever God has for us. So I trust you with my family and my future, and you ain't got 5 years.
So what did you think?
Rolled over
Like,
and
what
went
did
to
you think about that accountability? Like, when it hit you, how did it hit you? Right? Were you?
Well, it was appropriate. It made me feel like, wait a minute, I'm the leader of the home, and I have no plan. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, how dare you? You need to get it together.
Yeah.
And I got myself around some other men who were like able to like, hey man, my wife asked me this question I didn't have an answer for. You seem like you got an answer. Help me find my answer. And so it was insulting, but it was a gut check, right?
Yeah.
We need that. Like I need that type of like, What did you say to me?
Can I ask you a
please.
question?
100%,
At what
man.
age did you decide to get married?
I was
You
32.
looking right at me.
No,
I
I'm
know.
saying. I mean.
Yeah, just a general
just
question.
a general question.
I was 25 when I got married.
Wow.
So I got engaged at 29, but I knew it probably 25.
Okay. So you entered into the union around so you would say 29.
That's when I got engaged.
Okay.
Like we were dating prior to that, 5 years prior, but I think a man always knows.
Yeah.
And we talked about it in the last show, like there's these preconceived notions that you have to have everything together, you're gonna have X amount in the account. That's all not true.
I can't answer your question because I'm trying to count, but I'm not counting fast
It's
enough.
all good.
Right?
It's all good.
I know I proposed in 2001, so the math on that is whatever the math on that. But I was scared out of my mind, and I knew she wanted me to propose.
Bet.
And I was
too,
still
bro. It's so
you said-
weird.
you said-
I was 32.
32.
So and I don't know if men do this to themselves, and I always say sometimes my ambition is the greatest gift and also the biggest curse that I have. Hearing what you guys said, I always had a plan for my own life. So I never felt worthy enough when I was parking cars, or when I was bartending, or when I was going to class, or I was like, I ain't getting no relationship. Because I can't take you out to dinner. Girl, I ain't got time for that. I got a goal. And so when my dreams and goals started to actualize, I realized from programming of my upbringing, I was then open enough to being in a relationship. Now cut to a couple of things that you guys said, like, okay, how do I necessarily provide for a woman that can do anything she wants? And by the blessing, I've accrued that to that point. But before, she used to say this, I don't like to travel without you. I'm like, why? She was like, because it's easier. You get this, you get that. It's just the forward thinking. And I remember us sitting down and I was like, well, what do you want? Like an unadulterated, candid question. I got you, I ain't gonna say it. But I was like, well, what do you want? And I was like, don't give me the BS answer. I want to inspire people. No, what is your primal need? What do you want? And because I know what mine is. In your gut.
Yeah.
And then once she told me, and I realized, I was like, okay, yo, this is a new way of how we're gonna do this. I was like, okay, bet, because your vision aligns with my vision. And then I realized, my weakness is I have a vision all the time. I'm a visionary. I will go for it. I will make it happen.
Yeah.
The execution and the needed execution steps that trim the fat around to get to that vision, she's excellent at.
Love that.
So I realized, she always tells me, you dream bigger than I could have ever thought to dream. So I started realizing, I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is a part of provision. Like, this is the part where the forward thinking of, oh, well, we got this. We got to get that. We're traveling this, that, and the other. Make sure this, that, isn't done. Okay, well, what's needed? Okay, cool. We got the car. And it's just like, I'm realizing, like you guys were saying, the provision is deeper than monetary.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Because she just recently said
the compliment to be able to add the things.
I feel comfortable enough, and she said it to her mom, to live in my divine feminine. I was never able to do that before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I thought it had something to do financially, you know, because as men we equate that, and I mean maybe not y'all, but I did. I was like, bro, I ain't shit unless I got a couple dollars in my pocket.
That's the struggle every man.
Because I don't feel validated enough to be able to do what I want to do for you. You know what I mean? But when she said I'm finally able to live my divine feminine, I was like, well, what does that mean? She was like, you just think. I feel protected, and I feel this, and I feel that, and just listening to you all, I'm like, you know, I'm trying to like, damn, am I on the right track? Like, you know what I mean?
I think you're touching on love, you know, like that pure form, you know, unromantic. You know what I mean? We all of the fathers at the table, and if you've been, you know, you've had a parent, you know, that thinking about you, you know, is that great form of love. You know, not like, you know, there's no romantics, no sex involved. You know what I'm saying? Your children, you just think about how to support them. How to love them. When you get something out of it, I don't even know if that ever comes into your mind. Right. You know, they're not gonna give you anything back, you know what I mean? Like, you know, until they can say thank you, till you teach them properly, you know what I mean? But that love, I think, if you don't mind me saying, I think it sounds like she's speaking about that love, like you think about me.
Yeah.
You plan for me.
It's interesting. My grandfather taught me, he said, if you know, and this is in friendships, family ships, of course romantic relationships, if you have to make the person across from you ask, and you already know what they need, and you make them ask, you don't really care about them or really love them, because half the time people don't want to have to ask you for something that you...
Damn!
That's true.
You hitting a vein, bro. Who said that again?
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, he taught me that. So there's a lot of times I'll see stuff
just
and
asked
I'll be like, all right, you need that. Let me log it.
Yeah.
Or even in my family, I'm like, I hear you talking about certain things.
I'm gonna drink on that.
No, I'm not trying to, but I'll give it before you have to ask me, because I know you need it.
Well, and I love that, but I'm also, right, like sensitive to the fact to like, you're relearning and knowing someone differently, right?
Yeah.
So it, like, my wife be expecting me to know stuff, and I'll be like, I wasn't thinking about that, because I have this and this and this, you know what I mean? And so there is, and I think what it really is you want to, I feel like my wife, right, wants me to discover, know, and learn her, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a practical pursuance of understanding her needs, right? And that she needs right now, and then what she'll need later, right?
Yeah.
But do you think that changes? Because especially if 25 to where y'all are now, like, you're not even the same people no more.
No, it will evolve.
Yeah.
You will evolve.
And sometimes she'll just be saying stuff, and she'll be wanting that, and I'll be like, all right. You know what I'm saying? My wife say, hey, right, like, I want to move to Atlanta. I say, no, you don't.
Don't get me started. Please,
I promise you, you do not want to move to Atlanta, right? So she goes, I want to move to Atlanta. So look,
This is year 10 plus.
so right, I go, okay, let's go to Atlanta. We book a trip.
Go ahead.
Knowing I have no desire to move there, and we go look at 11 houses.
Go ahead.
11 houses.
Right, and I'm just watching her. I'm watching her get the Atlanta experience. She's like, I need to live near the water. Right, we from Cali, right? The water don't move here.
I'm triggered right now. I'm
The water
triggered.
sits still. Would you
Why
like it?
y'all want to move to Atlanta?
Yeah, though, right? But like, she had to go there. We had to go, fly. I had to do the whole thing for her to come back to San Diego, get off the plane, breathe that California air, and be like, I'm not moving to no Atlanta. All right, cool.
Those are some of my favorite moments in there. Oh my God.
That's like, you don't even...
When you know you right.
I didn't even have to say anything. Give me some, because what you're talking about is that compassionate space when you already know.
Yeah.
But you're not stomping on what the woman is saying. So that I need to see, and you're like,
Okay.
I know, but let's get on this trip.
Yeah.
Man,
let's book that.
That's a tough place to go.
Like, some men or women try to dominate, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, no. Even if you know he wrong, you know she wrong, and you like, it's a foregone conclusion, let them do their thing.
Yeah.
Let them go to that, you know. Go ahead.
So previous
Because, girl, they don't even have almond milk. I know you ain't
You
going
already
to
know.
milk.
Go ahead.
previous to having,
And he got sprouts.
Hey, you go to the restaurant and you like,
I have
I'm
8
sorry.
nieces and nephews.
Yes, sir.
So previous to having our son, you know, I'm used to my oldest nephew is now 22. The youngest before my son was born was 2.
Yes, sir.
My wife was convinced she wanted 5 children. I've been around children my entire life.
Yeah. Talk that.
We had our first kid. She's done. She's done. I used to laugh at her all the time, like when we were dating, and she had this number. She had this preconceived, I want 5 kids. I want 5 kids.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
first one will do
like
it.
the response now is, I'll have another one if you really want one, but like I'm perfectly content.
mine
with our
want 3, and I'm like, girl,
it'll change.
We work too much.
This superpower of knowing your partner and planning for their upliftment is great because sometimes a situation will come up where a decision they can make when you know, not like think when you know their true heart's desire, like when you were saying your wife, what's in your gut? And sometimes you know, but people have triggers and expectations and doing what their family told them to do. Yeah. And sometimes the decision will be in front of your partner and you know they're gonna make that foolish choice.
Yeah.
Before you say yes to that contract, before you say yes to that, really hear me. That's not what you want.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about from a position of trying to make decisions for you. Ain't no
right.
ego involved here.
Yeah, because if you win, I win.
Yeah.
If you win, I win. So listen to me, sis, bro. You think about that. I don't think you really want that.
Yeah.
Just pause. Give it a day.
Yeah.
And when you really in their corner, you be praying. Sometimes they still gotta make it. But you doing your
That's the part.
We gonna lose together.
but sometimes you can swear and they'll be like, and they'll thank you later, and they'll be like, if I took that contract, I'd be like, you'd have made all of us miserable. Goddamn it, we'd have all been in hell behind that decision.
Right.
I'm sorry.
But marriage, no. I was gonna say I think that's one of the most beautiful aspects of marriage, and it helps the marriage along because it happens on both ends.
Oh, yes.
Our egos,
exactly.
our egos, and what we think we know, and I'm motherfucking King Kong. I mean, excuse my language. You know, I'm King Kong or whatever. The same thing happens for us very, very similarly, and it's a beautiful, it's a beautiful exchange. It's like a dance. You know what I mean? Where we have those instances of baby, I told you so, and they have those instances of.
We ain't gonna put it out there though,
Right.
because this is the men's roundtable.
I think my wife look at me and laugh at me all day. To be straight with you, I think she'd be like, dude, you the lie, you the foolish, you the clowniest, you the clowniest clown Negro I ever met. Yeah. You be saying things you don't mean all day long.
Yeah.
You know, and
All that hot air,
I
yeah.
go home, I don't know if I should say this, Mom, I love you. You know what I'm saying? I love my mother. I love you, mama.
She gonna jump through the camera. You better be careful.
I don't know if I should say that. I'm gonna get my courage together. I'll get back to that. Somebody else
Take it. Come on, man. Take a sip, man.
Take a sip. Look at courage. Hold on.
Look. Go ahead. You gonna do it?
Don't mess up with your mama.
Okay, go ahead.
This is fear. You see fear on Alimi's face? My mama's still a queen. Let me say this, if I can dip a toe into it.
Go ahead.
Sometimes your wife, your partner, male, female, both female, will know you better than sometimes you have the courage.
Oh, 1,000%.
To step up, man, and when they really grounded, they give you great counsel.
Yeah.
Oh my
and they
God.
save you time, money, aggravation, sometimes even heartbreak. And I'm a beneficiary, of someone who's thoughtful.
Yeah.
And that has made all the difference for me, personally.
Amen. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here with the Black Love Men's Roundtable. I Am Belief. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you follow Black Love, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Thank you for having us.